Oh, woodly-doo smoking, woodly-doo smoking. Won't you keep on sharking? Welcome to the Clark the Shark Show, another episode in Sharky EIB Golden Sharkerphone Excellence in Broadcasting. And my voice is trashed because I puke constantly. I've got skin cancer and it's floating around in me blood and it makes me vomit because cancer poisons you. It's like having radiation in your blood. That's why they hit it with radiation to try to get rid of it. But it actually just makes you sicker. And if you're a conservative or Republican, I recommend eating garlic. Don't go to a doctor, because if you do, you're going to end up dead. Like Rush Limbaugh, like Kirstie Alley, like most conservatives who go to the AMA, American Medical Association doctors. They'll just kill you at 1-800-449-8255. Nah, I don't know. I'm probably just paranoid, but if you got cancer, eat raw garlic. Don't take the cancer drugs. And don't do chemo. Unless you got one of those really bad cancers where you got a big tumor, like in your shoulder. You're pretty much screwed then. And chemo is all you got when it gets that bad. But I think raw garlic does a great job against all kinds of cancers, including leukemia, you name it. But, the cancer pills, they might be all right if you want to puke and feel like shit all the time. Sort of like chemo on the Clark the Shark Show at 1-800-449-8255. But I'm not here to talk about cancer or doctors that kill Republicans or conservatives or, Sean Hannity. If you ever get cancer, don't go to a doctor, Tucker, or Greg Gutfeld or Mitt Romney. Or even if you're a rhino, don't go to a doctor, Kirstie Alley, if your back hurts, because the next thing you know, you'll be in a grave at 1-800-449-8255. But you won't be in a grave if you listen to Boston, this incredible album from 1976. Man, what a miracle this thing was. Tom Schultz and John Boylan and it was just like three guys that recorded this and a bunch of overdubs and just really genius. Kind of like when Clark the Shark, me, yours truly right here, when I go in the studio with Bill Cradell and I'm like, back in 1992 or 91 or 1990, I'm like, I'm going to write a hit song. And I just overdub everything. I play the drums in one room, then I go to the other room and do guitar. Or sometimes it's just all in the same room and overdub the bass and the vocals and all the backing vocals. And everyone's like, oh, Sharky, he's just getting lucky. He never knows what he's talking about, or he never knows what he's doing at 1-800-449-8255. He just dresses up his music with bells and whistles and sound effects. Yeah, man. Clark the Shark. The same songs by the Greenhouse Effect that are on Blogger and Vimeo. I'm not really on YouTube anymore because I've had like 9 accounts deleted. I don't even know why they delete my accounts. They say, I put gaming casinos on them, and then they just deleted all my music, like 300 videos. 8 million views, just gone, I'm talking back in 2011, 2012, 2013, 2009. You hear all these guys bitching and whining how they're shadow banned or they're deleted today, but Clark the Shark, baby, I got all you guys beat long ago. They were deleting and banning me in like 2007 on YouTube. In fact, I just gave up on YouTube for years, and only recently did I come back to it. But I'll never give up on Boston 1976, this album, which I consider the greatest album from the 1970s. I mean, me, Clark the Shark. I like incredible albums, Captain Beyond and Who's Next and, Rush, Moving Pictures or Permanent Waves or whatever, David Bowie, Low, or there's just some albums that are fucking killer. And this is one for sure. Boston, 1976. And, of course, it's going to get 5 stars, dude. Even left-wing liberals will give this 5 stars. Or it got a 4, and a 4.5. But, everyone knows this album's just phenomenal, And, More Than a Feeling. Wow. I don't even need to tell you more than a feeling. Killer, man. And Peace of Mind, the guitar harmonies, guitar atmospheres, the incredible lead vocals and lead vocal harmonies and overdubs and incredible melodic atmosphere. Just really super melodic songs here, you guys. I mean, admittedly, this music's cheesy, it's like Kansas or something really lame like Jefferson Starship or Toto. But me, Clark the Shark, I love really lame, shitty music. And I'll listen to it. And I love Foreplay, Long Time. All 756 of that incredible song. Side 1 of this is just amazing. And you're like, I don't care who you are. You could be into punk rock, or you could be into Rush, or you could be into new wave or grunge or indie or country or blues. And you are going to be convinced that More Than a Feeling, Peace of Mind, and Foreplay, Long Time, just this boogie woogie 70s rock and roll atmosphere. Amazing hard rock. It's not metal. It's melodic hard rock with keyboards, and it's incredible, you guys. Tom Scholz. Tom Scholz, the genius, who killed himself a while ago, back in like 2000, I don't know, 2005 or 2004. I remember I lived in my condo down in San Diego Vista, North County. And I'll never forget, Tommy Scholz, or maybe it was Brad Delp. I don't know, but one of these guys killed themselves. And, bummer, man. Sad. I don't know why. Keith Emerson killed himself when they were kind of old. Tragedy, man. Why would Keith Emerson from Emerson, Lake and Palmer kill himself? I mean, Clark the Shark would never do that. I mean, I'm a monotheist. I believe in God. And I believe if there is a God, he'd probably send you to hell if you killed yourself. I don't know. I'm not sure if it's Brad Delp or Tommy Scholz. One of those guys killed himself, but it doesn't matter, because if you kill yourself, you're just a dumbass, man. I mean, maybe if you're surrounded by a bunch of Russians and, you got the suicide pill, that might be different. At 1-800-449-8255, the fabulous Clark the Shark Show from the golden EIB Sharkraphone. The Wolfman Jack on effing crack right here. Clark the Shark and Rock and Roll Band. Side 2, baby. Rock and Roll Band and Smokin'. You talk about killer melodic guitar harmonies, vocal harmonies, overdubs. It's killer. Everything's killer. The drums, the keyboards, guitar, everything, man. I mean, it's just that melodic, atmospheric guitar that puts a smile on your face. And I don't even know if it's Brad Delp or Tommy Schultz or I don't even care who's doing what. I just love this album. And, there's 3 songs here not lit up in blue on Wikipedia. Hitch a Ride, Something About You, and Let Me Take You Home Tonight, which is a song I love. You know, Clark the Shark loves him some Let Me Take You Home Tonight by Boston, baby. And of course, Boston isn't even a band. This was a project in a studio's garage. Tom Schultz and Brad Delp pretty much did all this. You look, it's just like they do everything. And then they get a band, to come along and fill it out, Barry Goodrow. That sounds like a hockey player. Fran Sheehan. That sounds like a guy an NHL player on like the Florida Panthers. And Sib Hashian. Oh, dude, that sounds like a name of a cymbal company. Like Sib Zildjian drums. Clark the Shark could have played drums on this, man. You could have a guy out of the Yellow Pages. These songs are so good. The drumming's like irrelevant. I mean, the drumming's really good on this album, you guys, but the main guys doing here are Tommy Schultz and Brad Delp. I think maybe both of these guys killed themselves because this album was so good. I mean, they're satisfied, man. They're just and the producer guy, whatever his name was, John Boylan, that guy too, dude. He played a role here with this phenomenal album that I remember from childhood. And yes, I have bought this album on vinyl so many times at the Rhodium, at Go Boy Records, at Peanut Records, at Zed Records. I've tried. I remember back in the day trying to just get me a Boston, man, that isn't all scratched up. And I actually bought a pretty killer version of this, but I gave up on vinyls of Boston. I just got to hear the CD. I know a lot of you out there are purists, and you're like, Clark the Shark, how dare you buy a CD of Boston, this album? Recorded by 2 guys and overdubs galore, production galore, you guys. But it's so amazing. This reminds me more than anything, any other music of my own music, Clark the Shark and the Greenhouse Effect. I mean, I'm not this good. No way. But the way these guys overdubbed this like a project, and they had a producer who believed in them, and somehow they got a record label that believed in them. It's all just so amazing how it was all meant to be by God. I do believe in God because I believe in Boston, and I believe God moved mountains to get the Boston album to be here on planet Earth. Just like God moved mountains in 1965. I heard the story of the way Clark the Shark, was born. My family went to Yosemite in like the summer of 1964, and my mom disappeared and got lost in Yosemite. I think it was August or July 1964. But my dad found my mom, and they made me in Yosemite. My dad must have been in some panic. And then I came into being. I was born on April 27, 1965 at Harbor General Hospital on Carson Street in Torrance. Harbor Gateway today, or Los Angeles City Strip. Now it's called County UCLA Hospital. And Clark the Shark came into the world April 27, 1965. And my mom would always say, man, mountains were moved and all this stuff happened so you could be here, Clark the Shark. And I believe I was put here on this earth. One of the reasons was so I could just hear Boston, Brad Delp, Tommy Schultz, and Boylan, and the other guys, if they played it all. The guys in the band that killed themselves, like Keith Emerson. But you guys, wherever you are in the universe, even if you're in hell or wherever, I definitely like your album, Boston. I think it was Brad Delp. I don't think it was Tom Scholz. Tom Scholz might still be here. I'm pretty sure it was Brad Delp, but it doesn't even matter. To me, they're both dead and they both killed themselves, just like Keith Emerson. And they're all dead now, but the music remains. Boston. This album and that band that would come along later, The Darkness with Justin Hawkins and maybe ELO, you know, those dreamy bands with a spaceship on the cover. You know, I love it. It's so cheesy and lame and fucking awful, but I love lame shit. Me, Clark the Shark, imagine that. The punk rocker from Redondo Beach who grew up on Black Flag and the Germs and you know, all that shit. You know, the Sex Pistols and the Circle Jerks and the Damned. Imagine that guy, Clark the Shark, who hangs out at Go Boy Records or the Rhodium, you know, I go there just as much to buy Boston, baby. This album right here from 1976, August 25, 76, the summer after 5th grade at Parkway School in Torrance. I was just a 10-year-old lad about to cross the Great Divide and then go to Newton School. And, you know, September of 76. And let me tell you, I would go up to kids and I'd be like, dude, I like Boston. And they're all, fuck that. We're getting into punk. And I'm like, yeah, I'm getting into punk too. But it doesn't matter because I like Boston. This album right here, you guys, Clark the Shark from the Golden EIB Sharkraphone. I'm telling you guys, I love Boston. I would say this album right here and Captain Beyond from 1972, these are the two greatest 1970s albums. You know, who's next? Quadrophenia, for sure, you guys, and some others, you know, the Rolling Stones, Sticky Fingers. But you guys, man, I love me some Boston. This really cheesy, lame crap that sounds like Toto or like Jefferson Starship or Uriah Heep. I don't know. It's just fucking lame and awful, but I fucking love it. Boston. So melodic, so atmospheric. Guitar harmonies, vocal harmonies, overdubs, production. It's got everything that made me, Clark the Shark, want to be in a band with Phil Keegan and Rick Carmody on bass and the Greenhouse Effect, Greg Tarpley on drums or Martin Silva on drums or whoever, all the bands I ever jammed with, you know, at the Hermosa Saloon, wherever I played, you guys, there's always a little Boston right there, rocking in Clark the Shark's brain, because I'm smoking, doodly doot, smoking. Come on, baby, won't you keep on toking? Come on. My favorite album, Boogie Tonight with Sharky Sharky. I love Boston, and I want all of you to buy this album right now. Whoever is listening to me, especially you young people born in 2002 or 2003, 2004, you're just 19, 18. You're born in 2005. I want you to get into Boston, and I want you to go to Spotify, Amazon, or iTunes, or Napster, and I want you to say, hey, Clark the Shark from the Golden EIB Sharkraphone, he said to tell you that I'm going to get into Boston, this album right here. I'm an indie kid, you know, but it doesn't matter. I was born in 2007, and I'm 15 or 16, and I want to get into Boston. Because Clark the Shark from the Greenhouse Effect and the Golden EIB Sharkraphone from the fabulous Clark the Shark Show. I want all you young people to get into Boston right now. Forget all the other music. get into this one album, you guys, 1976. It is a classic. I fucking love this guitar-driven melodic album. I like this more than Van Halen. I do, because the singing's better. I mean, Diamond Dave, I love him, man, but he can't fucking sing at all. Him and Anthony Kiedis, they fucking suck. They should never have been signed. I mean, they might be entertaining, but Boston is talented. These guys aren't messing around, you guys. These guys are kind of like me, Clark the Shark. They know what they're doing in the studio, baby, with all their overdubs and just all the, you know, what's that effect? Like compression and just shit that Clark the Shark would do in the El Segundo Jet City sound with Bill Crudell, or maybe Redondo Beach Pendragon with Bill Crudell and Mark Nathanson, or wherever, South Bay Sound with that guy, Mark Rothenberg or Roethlisberg, whatever his name is, or Dan. They will all tell you, oh yes, Clark the Shark. He's the king of the overdubs. He'll play all the drums, and then he'll overdub guitar, and then overdub bass, and overdub 5 vocal harmonies. Well, that's what Boston does, baby, right here. I'm Clark the Shark, and you just heard the word, the testimony, the only review of this melodic, atmospheric, overdub-laden, overdub-driven, production-oriented rock and roll classic, Boston. It has nothing but great songwriting, great atmospheric, melodic, beautiful guitar, harmonies galore, lead singing, backing vocals. Oh, you will be in guitar and vocal heaven, baby. With Boston, 1976. I'm Clark the Shark from the golden EIB Sharkerphone. The Wolfman Jack on crack, the greatest Sharky you will ever find in the universe. They love me everywhere. Andromeda, the Milky Way, Jupiter, Saturn, especially on Uranus. Clark the Shark, baby. He reviews the best on YouTube by far. Nobody can touch him. Nobody can touch a Sharky. At 1-800-449-8255, the fabulous Clark the Shark, where I just gave you the only review of Boston that you will ever need. Don't listen to the others. They are not as good as Sharky. I'm out, people. I love you. Peace.